Hi everybody, Dr. Debunk here again doing a new series. I just finished up the series on a historical review of basically the virus that made our lives miserable for the last 3 years. And you should look at those. But today we're going to start a new series I'm going to do for a while. And it's something that 75% of Americans need to know about, and that is managing weight. So I'm Dr. Debunk, and I debunk medical myths, garbage, and crap spread by doctors and other health professionals. Now, this topic, weight, has been a little pet project of mine for 18 years. As I've told you, I'm a primary care doctor in Central California, and my focus is on natural medicine. I try to get people off drugs. I've spent 29 of my 39 years learning how to treat people's blood pressure and diabetes and all these other onset problems that aren't disease, but they're precursors to disease, how to treat them naturally. And then I also, as Debunk, try to expose the idiocy of medicine today, because the money people and the power people have just ruined medicine, as we saw with COVID. Anyway, so back to this. Americans have been getting fatter and fatter for the last 60 years. And we didn't even really understand nutrition or human metabolism well enough until maybe 20 years ago to even get this. And so about 20 years ago, some amazing metabolic research answered a question. And what I'm doing now is a little history so you can understand why I got into this. Because, see, being overweight isn't a disease. It's not what doctors study. We don't know anything about it. You can't go to your doctor and ask him to help you. And there's so much lies out there, bad information. And I won't use those words misinformation or disinformation, because there's no such thing. That's my little pet peeve. I've said it before. You should fight against using those words. There's no such thing as misinformation or disinformation. Everything is a lie or the truth. That's it. And the truth is hard to get to. When you talk about weight, the truth has been very difficult to understand. And so anyway, this metabolic research explained people like me that have fast metabolisms, why don't I ever gain weight? I mean, I'm a pretty good body weight, actually the same weight I've been since I was 20, but I've never done anything. I should weigh 400 to 500 pounds based on the food I've eaten. And so it was a 50-year research question. How do people, males and females, just stay skinny and they eat like pigs? I mean, people that eat 3 times as much as you and they're 50 pounds lighter than you. Well, that question was kind of answered over 20 years ago. And from that research, it hit me. I realized, this is what weight is about. Weight is really about having a higher, faster metabolic rate so that you can burn calories or waste calories the way fast metabolizers do. And basically, on my website, I'll be doing detailed stuff on this. But what a fast metabolism is the body wastes calories. We never looked here because, I studied this back when I went to college, and that's back when it was dinosaurs. And we tried to answer this question, which was, how does a 25-year-old male waste or get rid of 2,000 or 3,000 calories a day? It just disappears. We had no idea. 2,000 calories a day could have a male survive 5 days if you're starving. And yet it just, poof, vanished. Well, then we realized something about it, and I won't get into it, but we waste calories getting rid of them instead of using them to store fat, most aggressively from teen years and early 20s, and then it starts to all go away for various reasons. And that's what made me realize, we've got to alter our lifestyles so that you can have a more optimal metabolism like you did in your early 20s. Now, it does change with each decade, but the way we live in America is designed to make everyone as fat as cows, and that's why we are. If you look at the data, we've been dieting since 1960, and young people are fatter than ever. And the changes of the last 30 years, children growing up in the last 30 years, it's psycho the amount of carbs they're getting and eating. You know, you know, things like liquid sugar. If you make me ruler of the universe, Coke and Pepsi, the people that run those companies go to jail. They know what they're doing. And so that's one of the first things I'll give you. Parents, never let your children have liquid sugar. You're programming their brain. The human brain is wired for the first 16 years of our life. Well, again, when I went to school when there was dinosaurs, we thought by 2 years old, all 6 trillion, count them, 6 trillion connections in your brain and body are forming. Now we know it takes 16 years. So if your kid is getting whatever degree of extra carbs, especially in a liquid form, the brain is being wired to be addicted to a certain amount of carbohydrates that's so unnatural and healthy. And that's why, see, we this rampant obesity in the last 30 years. Kids, getting liquid sugar. So mom and dad, your children should describe you to other people at 12 years old saying, I have the worst parents in the world. They're evil. I never get liquid sugar. I never get a soda. I have to sneak it around. You're doing a good job. See, it's hard enough to manage your food carbs, let alone liquid sugar. You're done. You are destroying your children. So that's the first little tool from Dr. Debunk to debunk the myths that a little bit of carbs, Coke and Pepsi and all that stuff, it's catastrophic. If they get a hold of this video, they're going to probably want to kill me, but whatever. Anyway, so back to, America has continued to alter itself to the point where we are catastrophically fat because we've done two things. We've become more and more sedentary and consumed more and more carbs. And so we didn't even really get it until, it started with Atkins in 1980 with the Atkins diet. Now it's called the keto diet. But here's how weight works. Weight's really simple as far as losing. Now there's 2 movies and we'll get into it. It's one movie to lose weight, another movie to maintain weight. Now, I'll dissect those at length because I'm going to give you tools. These videos are going to give you tools. But we've mixed 2 movies into one. That's why it doesn't work. So, people are all obsessed with losing, but even if you lose 40 pounds because you're so mad at your fat body, you stop eating carbs, you can't do it forever, and then what? You'll go back to random eating and gain it all back. And that's been the biggest dilemma for 60 years, gaining it back. But here's how it works. Your body takes carbohydrates, all carbs. There's no good or bad carbs. That's another tool, another bit of education. There's no such thing as good or bad carbs. That's a lie. There's only the total calorie load. How many total calories do you eat of carbs? How many carbs total do you eat? So here's how it works. When you eat extra carbs, which is every American every day, and carbs are pasta, bread, cereals, grains, all sugars, all fruits, all vegetables, it's just varying concentrations. But all sugars and starches become human glucose, carbs. We turn it all into glucose. And when you eat extra carbs, it's got to go somewhere. We take the carbs and turn them into energy, and it runs our body. It provides the energy to make your brain think, your heartbeat, your lungs. We're just talking about walking around, no exercise. And when there's extra carbs, the first place they go, that extra energy generated goes into your fat cells, turns on the fat storage factory, and you store body fat. Now, the human body does that for 98% of males and 99% of females because people used to be starving to death every winter. And so if you could store fat during the harvest season, you're better off. And so we eat so many carbs, the body just keeps storing fat because it keeps thinking the winter's going to come. But we never have winter in America. We eat carbs every day, never, nonstop. Americans are eating 2 to 3 times the carbs they need every day. And so eating all those extra carbs, your body just keeps storing fat. We don't even know what a little bit of food is anymore. And so I have to limit this to 10 minutes. So the introduction here was, this is kind of how we got here. And getting fat is just about eating too many carbs. So getting skinny is just the reverse. All you got to do is stop eating carbs, and you can be as skinny as you want. But that is the hard part, isn't it? And that's what we're going to dive into. So I'm Dr. Debunk, and this is the first intro on dieting and carbs and weight.